They say it's the only human-made structure visible from space. But that's not the greatest mystery of the Great Wall of China. Because this wall was never just about defense, it was about fear, control, and the immense price of power. How did a single emperor command the construction of the longest wall in history? And what secrets still lie buried beneath its ancient stones? Stick around, because the story you're about to hear is far more complex than the one you learned in school. Over 2,200 years ago, the land we now call China was a fractured landscape of conflict. It wasn't one unified nation, but 7 fiercely independent kingdoms, each vying for supremacy in an age of constant warfare. Among them, a formidable power was rising. The state of Qin, led by an ambitious and ruthless young ruler named Yingzheng. He possessed a vision that was as grand as it was terrifying, a vision of a single unified empire under his absolute rule. Through a brutal and relentless series of military campaigns, Yingzheng systematically crushed his rivals. One by one, the other 6 kingdoms fell to his armies. By the year 221 BC, his conquest was complete. He stood as the undisputed master of a vast territory and declared himself Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. But conquering is one thing, ruling is another. His monumental task was now to unite this sprawling, diverse empire and, most importantly, protect it from all who might threaten his newly forged dynasty. Before Qin Shi Huang's reign, many of the northern states had already built their own defensive walls. These were separate, disconnected fortifications designed to repel raids from nomadic tribes, most notably the fierce Zhongnu. But the first emperor saw these fragmented defenses as a symbol of the disunity he had fought so hard to destroy. He issued a decree of staggering ambition. These individual walls were to be linked, reinforced, and extended. They would form one single, massive, unbroken barrier, definitive line in the sand, stretching across formidable mountains, desolate deserts, and winding rivers. This monumental undertaking marked the birth of the legendary structure we now call the Great Wall of China. The scale of this project was unlike anything the world had ever seen, and the human cost was devastating. More than 1 million laborers were conscripted and forced into service. This workforce was a grim cross-section of the new empire. Soldiers from conquered armies, peasants torn from their farms, and prisoners condemned to hard labor. The conditions were beyond brutal. The work was relentless, day and night, under the scorching sun and in the freezing cold. Thousands perished from sheer exhaustion, starvation, or exposure to the elements. A dark legend persists to this day that the bodies of the dead were not given proper burials but were instead interred within the wall itself, their remains mixed with the earth and stone. This turned the Great Wall into a haunting paradox, both a fortress to protect the living and a colossal grave for the countless who built it. But Qin Shi Huang's deepest fear was not just of foreign invasion. It was something far more personal, far more profound: his own mortality. As he built a wall to keep enemies out, he simultaneously sought to conquer death itself. He commissioned the creation of the now famous Terracotta Army, an entire legion of life-size clay soldiers, to guard his tomb and serve him in the afterlife. He dispatched expeditions far and wide, searching for a mythical elixir of immortality, a substance he believed would grant him eternal life. But the more he chased immortality, the more his paranoia grew. He became increasingly isolated, trusting no one, fearing plots and assassins at every turn. His obsession with control and his terror of death cast a long, dark shadow that would ultimately outlive him. Shortly after his death, the mighty Qin dynasty, built on a foundation of fear and absolute power, crumbled and fell. But the idea of the wall, his most enduring legacy, survived. Subsequent dynasties, recognizing its strategic and symbolic importance, continued his work. The Han, Sui, Tams, and most notably the Ming dynasty, each added to, rebuilt, and extended the fortifications. Over centuries, the wall evolved. It was never just one continuous structure, but a complex and sprawling network of fortresses, trenches, watchtowers, and barracks. It eventually spanned an incredible 21,000 kilometers, a living, breathing barrier that snaked across the northern frontier, separating the Chinese civilization from the nomadic world beyond. For centuries, the Great Wall served as a powerful symbol of both protection and separation. On one hand, it was a formidable defense, a shield that kept raiding parties and invading armies at bay, offering a sense of security to the millions living south of its ramparts. But on the other hand, it was a barrier that fostered isolation, cutting China off from the rest of the world and reinforcing a sense of us versus them. It was a monumental paradox carved in stone and earth, representing the eternal tension between security and openness, a testament to a nation's desire to define and defend its borders at any cost. Today, the Great Wall of China stands as one of the 7 wonders of the modern world, a breathtaking spectacle that draws millions of visitors each year. It's a symbol of human ingenuity, persistence, and national pride. But as we gaze upon its magnificent length, it's crucial to remember its deeper, more complex story. The true message of the Great Wall is a timeless one. Walls built from fear, whether physical or ideological, may endure for centuries and stand as powerful monuments. But true progress, understanding, and unity are not found in building barriers. They are found when knowledge, empathy, and courage finally tear them down. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the hidden history of the Great Wall, please hit that like button and subscribe for more real stories that prove history is often stranger and more fascinating than fiction. We'll see you in the next video.